Hello, hello, Susana. How are you doing?
Hello, Anna. I'm fine, and you?
Very well, thank you. I want to introduce you to this beautiful woman here, Susana. She's been my friend for many years now. And what we had, even though we hadn't met that many times, it was like love at first sight, what we felt for each other because we connected at a soul level. That was, anyway, my intuition, my reading of it. And now, for whatever the reason, we have reconnected again in these times of uncertainty when there's a tiny little thing moving around from long to long and giving us a hard time or a good time at the same time. Susana is, she's a very empowered woman. She's gone through a lot of stuff. She has overcome tons of stuff and she wants to add value to other women as well. Actually, she is the responsible of a mastermind group called Motherfuckers, because what has brought us together is the fact that, well, we've gone through a few challenges thanks to our mothers, not because, thanks to them, and because of that we are more empowered. Susana has also gone through other challenges in her life and she has turned her life around. She's been very brave and she wants now to share that with us. Without further ado, Susana, microphone is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Anna. Thank you for inviting me to this meeting that I am sure is going to be very interesting, and I hope what I'm going to say will help other people. That's my main ambition here. Right, so I was thinking mainly about two different challenges that I think I've met in my life. The first one was when I went to Wales, to Cardiff, to study a master after I finished my law degree, because at that time I was feeling I was having a very bad time. I was having a kind of a breakdown or similar, but I knew that that was my opportunity to study something that I wanted to do, and that's the reason why I went there. And the main point was that I was able to finish the master degree and to succeed with it, which was not easy at all.
And it was not easy because what were the challenges? What kind of challenges did you go through, if that's okay for you to share? I mean, it was because the matters were very hard for you to study. It was because you left home behind. It was because you were surrounded by people you didn't know, because the language was a foreign one. What was it? Oh, yeah, because it was very wet in Cardiff. Plus, they have a very strong accent.
Yes, that's a good point, the one you are making, because precisely I was going to highlight, I was going to point out that fact that the weather was awful. It was rain every single day, and as you know, it was dark quite early in the afternoon at 4 o'clock, and because of my feelings, the way I was feeling at the time, it was difficult for me even to attend to some of the lectures sometimes, because I was feeling quite sad and depressed. You know, I was there anxiety, and because of my mental situation as well, and not only that, but the fact that you are in a foreign country and you are away from home, and I was there for a year and a half, more or less, and it was quite difficult for me.
Yeah, but knowing you as I know you, and you're a strong woman, I mean, saying here that the weather was pissing rain all the time, it's like such a small thing. What was really going on there?
Yeah, but I think when you are depressed, or when you feel all this anxiety and all this feeling that you are not well, because it was very difficult for me to concentrate. You know, one of the main things in my life has been that because of my problems with my mental problems, I couldn't concentrate very well on everything that I was doing. It was very difficult for me to study, even if I have succeeded on it. I mean, but it was really difficult, really hard, because of the lack of focus on what I was doing. The fact that I had to read the same thing many times in order to be able to learn, so to speak. So it was very difficult to me, and I was there with a couple of friends, and one of them was probably the one who helped me the most. with my studies, but I remember that some of the days, for instance, I couldn't attend to the lecture class, to the classes, to the lectures, because of my health. I mean, I was lying in bed. I couldn't even get up. You know,
Wow.
and it was really hard.
So it was body, health issues, mental issues as well. Still, even though you were, the weather was just adding up, I suppose. It was just adding up. And but instead of everything, you went through it and you did it. But how hard was it? I mean, it was really, really hard to go through that. Would you say that that was matter, trying to change matter, or let me put it this way, now with the wisdom that you have now, when you look back, what do you think that caused that? What would you have done differently now? What was it that triggered that your mental health was not up to par? What was going on, really?
I am not sure if I understand your question. If you could ask me again, or you mean what I really did in order to overcome the situation, or what do you mean exactly with that?
Yeah, what I see from here, Susana, is that I know that you're a very intelligent person. And then you're telling me about lack of focus, that you needed some friends. And I know that you're a strong person. You don't need friends to overcome stuff. I mean, they help, but you know that your strength is inside. Also, mental problems, when you're brilliant, you have 1 degree finished, another one nearly finished, you write so well, you speak other languages, I mean, it's amazing. Your capacity is amazing. But then you talk about lack of focus. And I wonder, what was there? What was behind? It's not something physical from what I see. Because you're intelligent and everything is there. Now that you're wiser, what do you think was there bugging you?
Yeah, I think it was a question of my emotional state. I mean, that I didn't feel well. I've been under some kind of instability and as I told you before, anxiety, and I was lacking of confidence in myself, and I think this is a very important point.
Yeah.
And so it makes you when you don't trust yourself, or you don't know if you consider that your decisions, what you do, everything you do is not, when you consider that this is not the right thing to do, and you are not sure about yourself, then I think you have a problem. It doesn't matter how smart you are, or that I don't find I am such a smart person, but I consider that I am a hard worker more than anything else. But it's true that if I have overcome that situation in the past and nowadays, I am okay, fortunately. It is probably because there was something inside of me telling me that I had to do it at any cost, so to speak.
The voice inside.
Yeah.
So you think it was a matter of self-worth? Your self-worth was down on its knees, you didn't feel worthy, and the world was just not working.
Yes, as my self-esteem was really, really low at the time.
Self-esteem. What do you do to improve your self-esteem? If you can share.
Well, yeah.
If you can share, because the point of all this is for other people to see, hey, I can relate to that. I feel like, you see, and Susana was there before, even though she's an intelligent woman, she was there as well. I'm just an average person. How can I go through this? What can I do?
Yeah, well, I think the most important point is, in my case, was to when I realized that I was not that bad as I thought I was. I mean, in the sense that I realized that all the problems that I had were because of the way I have understood my childhood, because it's not just something real in the sense that my mother was this or that. It was more the fact that the way I reacted regarding that, because not everybody is the same, and not all everybody reacts in the same way. In my case, all these messages, all this negativity, and all these negative messages were had been kind of overwhelming. I mean, I felt I was not well, and I've been feeling this way for a long time, that I didn't deserve to do things, and I wasn't able to do things, that I was really bad at anything, and then this is in your unconscious mind or whatever, and it is difficult to break this barrier and get through, I guess.
Yeah, so step number one, the way I see it, let me see if this is what you have said, is about the thoughts. Step number one is be aware of your thoughts, and that's how other people can look inside and see, why is my life not working? So step number one is watch your thoughts. Are those thoughts coming from you? Are those thoughts coming from somebody else? Where the hell are they coming from? And once you were aware of them, you were able to change them. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, because you, in my case at least, when I have these negative thoughts coming to my mind, I sit down with myself and I wonder to myself why I'm having these kind of thoughts, and then I tend to change them, because one thing is that your mind is free to think whatever, but you have the power to change those thoughts as soon as you as you are aware of this kind of thinking. That makes you feel sad or makes you feel, because obviously after thoughts you have to think about emotions. There is a big connection between both, and if you have negative thoughts, obviously you are going to have negative emotions, as if you are not worthy or similar.
That makes so much sense. Yeah, first is the thought, then the feeling, then the emotion, and that fits into itself. The moment,
and the fact that I believed for a long time what my mother was saying about me, and she has just a personality disorder. I mean, it's not just a question that she's looking at, she only looks, or she only sees the bad aspects of life. I mean, the bad aspects, the negative aspects of people. So she's unable to see other things because of the way she feels. She's a victim.
Yeah.
Childhood as well. So,
she's a victim herself. Is that what you think? Yeah, she's a victim herself. I want to congratulate you here, because you broke the chain, you broke the habit. I think that for you, it would have been just easier to be like her, to be negative, to just pass it on, because monkey see, monkey do, and just pass on the same thing. So for you to break it, I mean, congratulations. And that means that because you've done it, other women can do it. And I'm saying women because I'm mother and daughter, the relationship is, I mean, is what it is.
Yeah. Well, in my case, I was lucky because my father was just the opposite side. And he was very, very warm, you know, very loving and caring, and well, he passed away when I was 21, but I remember him, and I think this is one of the reasons why, I mean, I could have a good reference to carry on. I think in this case, this is a very positive aspect in my life as well, regarding my childhood. I mean, so not everything is negative.
No, I can see gratitude, great component. You're very grateful to your father, but is there any point or aspect in which you can feel gratitude about your mother? Is there, what's positive about her being the way that she is? She cannot change it, that's the way it is. But what about you? What can you do with that?
Well, I see some positive aspects about my mother. For instance, the fact that other mothers that have the same personality disorder, they don't allow the children to be with other people. They tend to isolate the children. Or this is what I believe, at least. In the case of my mother, from the very beginning, she was very interested in us having contact with other children and being with our family members, you know, our cousins and, you know, other children. And I think this is very positive. And on the other hand, from a material point of view, she always allowed me to study what I wanted to. But the thing is that I've never known exactly what I wanted to do with my life, because I chose a degree. I don't know exactly why. I mean, I don't say that I regret that, but I have, because of my situation at home, I have never been able to know exactly what I wanted to do in life. Because I think in these cases you are trying to please your mother much more than look at what are your real needs and what you want to do. I don't complain, because my experience at work has been really interesting. I've learned a lot, and I think you are always learning, which is the main question in our life. In life, learning, but you are in the situation that you know exactly what you want just because of that. So it's very important to go through some kind of therapy, or because I think it's difficult to get out of this well, so to speak, on your own. And I think you need some kind of help. At least that was my case. And since I have had that kind of help, I am not the same person anymore. So this is my
Wow.
experience, at least.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So even though our mothers could be not the loving, supporting, caring, and embracing mothers that we would have loved to have, there's always something positive. That's something to hold on to. I think that's a great message. And another one is that we can get out of that. No matter how hard our childhood has been, we can always get out of it. Number one is be aware of the state of the thoughts that we have. Number two, understanding that they couldn't do any better. Mothers, fathers, or both, they just couldn't do any better. So instead of blaming them and ourselves feeling the victim, because that way we would be feeding the beast, we can just say, no, I know that's you. You can't do any better, but now it's my responsibility. Would it be about holding the responsibility of who we are?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more than with you. I mean, I fully agree with you. Yeah. I think that's important, but the main problem in my case was that I knew I wasn't feeling well, but I couldn't detect the reason for that. I had to wait till I was 49. I mean, just a year ago or more or less, in order to see that I had that problem, because I know that mothers and daughters. They always have rows, arguments, and that's something relatively normal in every household, every family. But and I thought that was the case with my mother. I didn't realize. I knew as well that I was too dependent on her, but I was looking at the situation as if it was my own problem. That it was, of course, that I had to sort out, but not like the source of the problem was that I was thinking that someone, who in this case is my mother, was being right, and I was considering her as someone perfect, and and I have an ideal idea, an ideal image of herself. So I think once I realized about that, my life changed, and I think we all should consider and study the people we are dealing with every single day. I think we should have more means to know, to learn about people we are dealing with, in order to identify toxic people, people who are and toxic relationships which are not healthy,
Yeah, that's very interesting. How can you tell that somebody's toxic for you, from your experience? Any tips that you can give us? I mean, I know that you're not a psychologist, but still, just out of your own experience, how can we identify that so that we can get out of the loop and start looking at ourselves from the outside?
Right. Okay. One of the main aspects maybe is the fact that you are very dependent on that person. Because
Oh, okay.
relationship means, I mean, the fact that you don't see any defects in the other person, that's the first thing. You think the other person is perfect and nobody is perfect. Well, we are perfect as we are, even if we aren't perfect, but I mean that we all have dark and light aspects in our lives.
Yeah.
And dependency is another one. I think when you are too dependent on someone, maybe you should consider that the kind of relationship that you have at least is not very healthy. I am not just trying to label people, because I don't think putting a label, a tag on someone is the right thing to do. Because in these cases, the other person is going to be the same. It is you, the one who has to change in order to continue to carry on with your life.
So toxic people would create dependency on them, and they would always try to put you in the wrong. Is that correct? They would never be open to discuss or to accept that some things need to be changed.
Yeah, they never apologize. They think they are perfect, and then you have this idea about them that they are perfect, and the problem is you. I mean, and you are the whole problem.
So what I see here is that if we have been raised by a mother with this kind of personality disorder, like narcissistic disorder, for instance, and they turn themselves into gods or goddesses for us in life, when we leave home, we are very inclined, I would say, to fill up that gap with somebody who's playing exactly the same role, because that's what we think that love looks like. Is that correct? We're feeding with the wrong information about love altogether.
Yeah, because I do believe that everything, once we see the source of the problem and we work to become better people, I mean, in the sense that we are working with ourselves, then we are able to overcome all this situation, because our thoughts have to do with the thoughts our mother had about us, and once we realize about it, we are able to continue. That's not real. I mean, that's what we were told, and if we I think we should trust our, well, when we're the main problem here is that we tend to reproduce what we have lived in our childhood. In my case, it happened to me at work. Well, it happened to me at school. I suffered bullying at school when I was 6. Wow. It happened to me at work when I was in my 30s, that I suffered from mobbing. And then with my partners, the situation was different, because I was looking for someone like my father. So unfortunately, the people I've been with, I mean, regarding boyfriends and love relationships, have good people. But of course, if you tend to, I mean, we tend to repeat the patterns that we have seen at home, and this is a dangerous very thing.
Yeah, because that's what we understand as love. The person who loves me, like my mother, manipulates me, uses me, tells me that I'm not worthy, that I'm not good enough. Therefore, I might look for the same elsewhere, because that's what we think this is what love looks like.
Yeah.
Wow, I was going to curse, but I won't. Wow. The good news is that we can get out of that.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So that's amazing. Something that you told me offline is that some years ago, this was not even out there. There was not awareness whatsoever about this kind of relationships, mothers, daughters. And what's the situation now 2020?
You mean for
experience?
Me?
In general.
I do not believe, well, maybe I tend to deal with people, I am quite lucky regarding that. I think I tend to deal with people who are quite evolved, so to speak, in the sense that they thought about many things, and maybe they can see that quite clearly. But people in general in the street, I don't think they realize about this, because, for instance, if you have a partner who is a narcissist or a psychopath, the main problem is that this person is going to be like like your how you say, twin soul or something similar. I don't know if you have that expression, twin soul.
Yeah.
And, and why and in which ways? And I'm going to tell you about women, the problem with women and the problem with in these kind of situations. The problem with women is that we do believe, according to Hollywood movies, that a partner which is just one in the whole world and is going to be everything for us, and and is going to be our father, our mother, our grandparents all together in one, and it's to be perfect. And I think this is a big problem because that's not the real thing. What happens then with these people, narcissists and psychopaths? They know about your needs. They study people quite in detail, so they present before you as your soulmate, and then you do believe that they are. And I think this is the main problem. That on the one hand, women believe in this idea about the blueprints, and on the other hand, there is someone who is feeding you or feeding us, pretending that he or she, in this case, because it could be a woman, it could be a man, is the perfect match for you, and that's not the case.
Yeah.
So if you say that you like blue, oh yes, I like blue as well. And you say that you are interested in war films, oh I love war films as well. And so it's like this is incredible. We are the same. There are so many similarities that we have.
They trapped you in their net, and then they can asphyxiate you and take the good out of you.
Yeah.
Wow. But bottom line, we are responsible for the people that we're attracting.
Yes.
It's not that we want to, but to a certain extent, we do.
Because we are not aware. We aren't aware of that. Yes.
So it's about awareness. It's about being the observer and see, why am I repeating this pattern all the time? Instead of being the victim of, oh, poor me, all my boyfriends are like this and they'll take advantage of me. It's turn around to yourself, be honest and say, I am attracting this kind of partner all the time. What's in me that I can change so that I can attract another kind of person? So it's about us. And I think this is very empowering, Susana, because that way we hold the reins. We can choose. They don't choose us. It's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, because once you can see that someone is acting this way, you can decide, I don't like this person. And probably if you don't pay attention to him or to her, you will have more interesting people around you. So,
and
to choose. Or you can decide to be on your own. That is not a problem either. I don't see, because that's another issue that is coming out. I've been watching videos about it lately. That we have this idea that we have to be with someone in order to be happy, and that's this is really silly. This is not real. That's not true.
Yeah, that's a belief that doesn't belong to us. It's something.
The main question is to feel good with yourself, to be happy with yourself, and then if you're with someone, it's okay, because you can consider that as a blessing if you really get on well. But if you are alone, it's okay as well, because you are still happy and feel yourself complete. You need to be with someone in order to
That's exactly what I wrote here. Complete. Whoops, where is it? Look, complete. I think that's the key word. If we are complete with ourselves, we don't need anything, we don't need anybody. And if we are with somebody else, it's two complete parts. It's not a half-broken person trying to be fixed by another half-broken person. Then there's nothing. There's no way to grow there, because one is just fixing, is the band-aid for the other.
Yeah.
So I think that's very wise, to be complete within ourselves, loving ourselves enough. But first, first we need to be observers, to be mature enough to step out of the victimism and look at ourselves. Wow, that's very wise. When I grow up, I want to be like you.
Well, I think you are already. Huh?
Well, a little step at a time, one baby step at a time. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience?
Well, I was thinking about my second challenge, but of course,
Go
these
ahead.
challenges are material challenges, not so much as the most important one, which is to overcome all the situations. I think we tend to think that we have to reach some kind of positions in life, and if we don't, we feel frustrated. But I think the most important issue here is to know yourself well and to be able to become mature regarding that, because otherwise, whatever you achieve, you are not going to be happy with yourself. Something is going to be missing. But my second achievement in the material world was that I decided one day I was working as a legal advisor, and I could have been there for ages in my retirement. And I decided to leave because I wasn't happy there and devote my life to teaching, which is one of the things that I like. I like doing. And I think that was taking into account that again I was not in my best moment because of all of my life has been a bit strange regarding my state of mind. I think that was an interesting step because I started teaching and I didn't know what the situation was going to be like, and I had a good job, or at least a job that would allow me to pay my bills, and you know and I decided to go somewhere else where I didn't know what the results or what the outcome would be. So,
Yeah, that was very brave. That was very brave. And still, I can see struggle there because you were not at the top of your game internally. Does that make sense? You were struggling on the outside. You were you were
yeah,
following your heart in the sense of, I love teaching, I'm going to teach, but still you were not fully there.
yeah.
How did that work? Could you pay your bills? If that's okay to ask. How did it go?
Well, it was, yes, at the beginning. Well, I have to say that fortunately I've been always quite good at money management. So that's one of the things that when I left the other company, I had some money just to be able to survive. Um, but it is a very interesting question that I'm going to tell you because I think many people could be really, really interested. This is a very important point, the one you're
Mm-hmm.
asking, because I've been self-employed for almost 10 years now. And I must say that just now, last September, it was when I started feeling better, because I went to a therapist and I've been going through therapy. It was the moment when I was able to get better results. I mean that I've always had students, but this year, from last September onwards, I was able to earn much more money than what I had been earning the previous years, and just because I was better, I have to say, I am pretty sure that when you feel good, as my therapist says, it's impossible that things are going to be bad for you.
Wow. And
And
that's only 7 months ago. 7 months ago.
yeah, and I've been through therapy for 15 months. I mean, almost a year and a half, almost. And I have to say that when I started to feel better, my life changed significantly.
Wow.
Everything changed. Everything.
And it's about your thoughts and your feelings. Manage your thoughts, manage your feelings. Your emotions were different. The results you showed, even though you were doing exactly the same motions on the outside.
Yeah. So being the same person with the same brain, the same physical appearance, the same everything. I mean, you can be a different human being
Yeah.
if you work with yourself in a I mean in depth. I mean, if you really work
Yeah, if you're committed to the change.
with your own, I mean, but if you are committed, not only as I have been all my life with studies, but with studying myself and trying to and focus on what the therapist was saying and doing all the exercises and all the tests or whatever that she was asking me.
Yeah, I think this is some news, Susana, that everybody should know about. At least this should be in the news, not so much coronavirus, and a little bit more of this, because I see programs and programs and programs and teachers out there saying, oh, 10 steps to become a millionaire, 7 steps to make your business bloom, or you see, do this and in 3 months you'll be financially free, or whatever it is. Even I myself, I teach to make money in the stock market, and I've seen it over and over. I can teach how to pick companies, best companies in quality and price, and look at the charts, and this is the moment to get in. And that's easy. However, I've seen it over and over. When people get to a certain point, fear kicks in, the challenges kick in, and they just sabotage themselves, sell when the market goes down instead of waiting, or just leave the club, or abandon their accounts, or whatever it is. And the outside, it's exactly the same, but they haven't changed inside. So it doesn't matter how many programs we go to, it doesn't matter how many seminars, unless we're committed with a change inside, nothing's going to happen. And if change is inside, like you, I mean, you're going to the same place to work, is the same classroom, same material, everything's the same. You haven't changed anything. No 7 days program, no look at these tricks, no Facebook quick fix and Google Ads or anything. You didn't do anything of that, did you?
Yeah.
No, it was just inside. That's
and
amazing.
I think it's something really basic, and it's so basic that we don't see it. Sometimes when something is because we look at the situation and we think this is really simple, but sometimes what it looks like really, really simple, that we have just outside, I don't know, we believe that that's not the way, and precisely it's more simple than what we believe. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't have to look for anyone to tell us what we have to do. For instance, with my therapist, one of the curious things is that she isn't telling me what I have to do. I am doing all the things on my own. I mean, I just follow her advice. In the sense, not her advice, but I reply to the questions.
Okay, questions. It's written questions or something like that?
Just questions, and I don't have to tell her about my life, or she's not telling me what I should do. I am learning and I am going further on my own. It's a very weird thing, because it seems like you might think that it's not going to work, but then it works, because you really want to change from with all your heart. And I think that's the main problem, the main point here, that you are making the biggest effort in order to make things better.
It's about a decision and a big commitment to ourselves to change.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Because being the victim, or being the poor me, or being in an disempowering state is so common to us. It's comforting, discomfortingly comforting, is it? Because we know it so well. We know it so well. So it's up to us to kick ourselves in the ass and say, do I want to change or do I not?
Yeah, you are right.
Yeah. Yeah. At least we know that we can.
Oh, yes. That's the most important point.
The power is inside here.
Definitely, yeah.
We don't need the power from anybody. We don't need any magic wand. It's all inside here. That's very, very empowering. Yeah. Yeah. I suppose that the most difficult step is the first one, because we don't know what's on the other side. We are so used to be disempowered and to depend on others and to depend on circumstances and to blame everything. All the situation is so bad, or the government is, or the grants here, or there are no students, or we are in that disempowering state, and it's so familiar that we find comfort there, even though it's not where we can shine the most. So I'm guessing that the most difficult step is the first one. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, probably, yes. Yeah, because but the question is that we follow some kind of patterns regarding that, of complaining, why me, why do I have, because, well, in my, and I cannot, we cannot deny that at the beginning, you really, at the beginning of a therapy, obviously, you are going to be, to feel anger, to feel, you know, to have a lot of like complaining, but that's the normal thing. But you are once you are within or you are following a specific therapy, that's normal thing, and it's important not to. I mean, to be aware of these feelings as well, because we all have these feelings inside. Anger is a feeling that, according to mindfulness, is a very interesting thing as well. That I was doing a course some months ago. I don't know why we tend to believe that only some kind of feelings are good, like happiness and, you know, this kind of thing. When we feel sadness or we feel anger or and all these things, we tend to repress them, not to show them, or not to accept that we're feeling that. And the most important thing is to accept that you might be thinking really, really badly about someone, and it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. I mean, you just have to. I mean, thoughts are free, as I say, and what you have to do is to keep on working till you are able to understand the situation and to end.
Yeah, to let the emotion do its own thing, because
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
all, we come to this earth to experience emotions, to
Yes.
experience them. And yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Them being good or bad is just our construct. They just are. They just are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm.
And I'm guessing that when you started treatment or a therapy, the anger, the complaining, that would be the ego, not letting go. Like, this is my kingdom and I want to stay here for good.
Yeah, and in a way, it's a way not to take the, as you say, to take to not to. It's a way to avoid looking at your life and your responsibility about your life. Because if you say that that has happened to me because of my mother, or because of my father, or because of someone else's, then or someone else's father or family, then it's like you are not. Taking into account that you are responsible of your own life.
It's giving your power away.
Yeah, that's
It's
it.
giving your power away. And this is about empowering. So
yeah.
Exactly the opposite. Own it. It's about us owning it.
I'm not saying that it is easy, because it's really difficult. The situation is really difficult, but it's possible. So that's the good news, is that you can overcome that. So.
Yeah, and I want to thank you because you're there sharing your experience, showing vulnerability, showing, you see, loads of inner stuff going on. And by you doing that, you're piercing the veil, as Dr. Joe Dispenza says. Piercing the veil, meaning that the more people that do something, the easier it becomes for other people to do the same. And the faster it gets. It's like the 4-minute mile. Yeah, oh, impossible, impossible. And then the moment that one person ran the mile in less than 4 minutes, and now everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so you might be one of the pioneers here, saying, yeah, stopped. I realized this when I was 49. You might be 20 now, you might be 30 now. Turn around and see, was my mother like this? Were my circumstances like this? Did I have all these doubts about myself? Do I feel unworthy? Well, maybe this is not mine, because I'm divine, I'm perfect the way I am, and I'm sure my capacities are still there. Let's see how we can peel all those layers and let shine our light and just be.
Yes.
So from here, I really want to thank you for sharing all this with us, because you see, that's massive value that you're adding to the community.
Thanks to you, because of your nice invitation to speak.
Thank you very much. If people want to contact you, Susana, where would be the best place?
I think maybe, well, I think maybe I can give you an email address. Is that okay?
Yes, sure.
I give you an email address that you have mine that I have given to you some minutes ago.
Okay, if you want to spell it out there, if people want to write it down, anyway, I'm going to put it underneath the video, so it's there for everyone, but if you want to say it.
Okay, englishmoregijon, which is ENGLISH as English, more MORE, okay, Gijon, which is the name of the village where I live, well, the village, the town where I live.
Town, yeah.
GIJON, sorry, at gmail.com.
Perfect. So it's English more, just one word. English more, MORE, Gijon, GIJON at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. Be well.
Okay.